Welcome to People Talk Now. I'm your host, Vanessa Herrera, and this is the podcast where you ask about it and I talk about it. And let's not forget, guys, we're changing the pace in what people call better days. Well, today I have a special guest with me, 6amLosAngeles. I don't know if you guys heard about him. Woo woo. Is there another name that you go by?
Six.
Six?
Yeah.
Is there a reason? Is there a story behind that?
Well, 6am is a DJ name I came up with a few years ago. And then when I transitioned into photography, I kind of just used it, but added Los Angeles.
So what came first? Because I know, I see on your Instagram that, you DJ, right?
DJing came first, for sure.
DJ came first?
Yeah.
So, when did that start?
I think just thinking about the years, it had to be sometime around 2011. I got into festivals, rave music, electronic music, and it heavily influenced my style and just what I was listening to at the time. So
what were you listening to at the time?
Prior to that, it was hip hop, but going into that, I was kind of just green to electronic music. I wasn't exposed to it. Nobody in my family or friends were even messing with it, but it's because of a relationship I got into.
That
there was a girl that influenced it and made it interesting for me. And then I think 2008 was my first festival I went to. It was Nocturno. And then I think 2009 and 10 EDC over here in LA at the Coliseum changed my whole life completely. I was blown away by the production, blown away by DJs getting paid this type of money to play for crowds. It just blew me away. Damn, you can really do something on this scale. And it's only gotten bigger and bigger as the years have gone on.
So, did you start, DJing at, places? Or, how did you, get into that, more specifically?
There was a family friend that my mom was cutting his hair at the time. And she told me about him. She kept telling me about him, hey, he does these all-age clubs in Orange County. I think you should check it out. He told me to tell you, check it out. And I guess one day I went to go check it out, and it was actually pretty cool. He's having a warehouse party in Orange County. He was doing it right, so I thought, all right, this is cool. And at that age, at that time, it felt right. I fell into place, and I ended up working with him with his events and his clubs, and then I was around the DJs a lot, and that's the party goers. That's the whole focus on the whole thing is just on the DJ and what he's playing. So that I immediately gravitated towards that, and probably because my dad's a musicianist. He's a drummer. He's been a drummer my whole life. So I've always been interested into music. It's been heavy. There goes that word again. Heavy influence on me. Goddamn. Heavy influence on me, and
we're gonna put a soundbite heavy.
Yeah, we should, because I can't get it this morning. So he inspired me in a way because he's an amazing drummer, and that got me into music, which got me into DJing pretty much from helping out those events. So
when did you did you at any point when did this start? What age were you exactly?
Exactly, I had to be probably somewhere around 23. At that time, I came kind of late, I would say, after high school, because I was still just partying and doing my thing. I was into party crews. I was into just being out in the streets and doing my thing. So a little bit after high school, I got more into throwing events and DJing and just doing something more with myself.
So when did you buy your first get-up?
My first get-up?
Yeah,
I could only afford, my first get-up, there's this guy, DJ Pete from Orange County. Shout out to DJ Pete. He gave me 2 turntables, Gemini turntables, to learn off of, because he knew that I was very interested and I want to get into it. And that kind of broke me into DJing as far as mixing. And then I needed to upgrade because it was an old setup. So I bought a mixer and I bought Serato, because this is when Serato was just breaking in the U.S. pretty much. And I just started playing internally off of my laptop and learning that way. And I never really could afford turntables till maybe about 2 years later, I finally bought a setup, and it took a while, but just initially learning. Yeah, I just bought a mixer, and I bought a laptop. That was a big one. The laptop was a big one for me because it was a lot of money. It was a Mac, and I needed one of those. I was thinking in my head, like every place, every club I'd go to, or every event, all the professional DJs would be playing on a MacBook in Serato. So I thought that's what I need, and that helped me transition into doing it more professionally and playing for events and playing for people and doing some bars and clubs here and there.
So like you mentioned, like a lot of people from Orange County. Like originally, where are you from?
Originally, I'm from La Puente. That's about 35 minutes from LA on the 60 freeway going east. It's in between West Covina, Rowland Heights, Hacienda Heights. I grew up there my whole life. I was born in Downey, but I grew up in La Puente my whole life. And after high school, moved to Chino Hills area. I've been out there ever since, and I've been working in downtown for the past 3 years in downtown.
So, like, how do you go about, like, now, like, getting, like, how do you conjure that up, like, getting, like, going out? I've seen images of you, like, pushing your setup on a cart. Like, how did that come about? Because that's like, honestly, when I first, like, heard about you, I kind of don't even remember.
It had to be 4 years ago or less, because I've only been doing this for 4 years.
I don't even know how it happened. I just know that I came across a photo. I think that's how it happened, and like I see what appears to be a guy with a setup. I don't know why I keep calling it the setup, but it's called the setup. I grew up around a lot of people too, like with music and stuff. So I'm just like the setup. You know?
Yeah, for sure. It was a setup. Yeah.
So when what I saw was a guy standing up DJing like out in the crowd. I see a lot of colors, like, so in my head I was just like, holy shit, like what's going on here?
You know what? It was an interesting time when I got into photo meets and when I introduced myself to the community, because like I said, I was in this long relationship, and when it ended, I didn't have anything other than myself and DJing, and that was pretty much it. I lost a lot of friends through that relationship. I lost pretty much my connection to the world, because other than that, I was just to myself.
Yeah.
So I think one day I was on Instagram and I was following a couple people, and one of the homies, he said that he was going to go up and shoot on a roof, and he was inviting anybody if they wanted to come through. His name's Sniper, but he changed his name a few times, but his name's Sniper. Shout out to Sniper. It's because of him that got me pretty much into a lot of this, because I had nothing to do that day. I was looking for something to do, hella depressed, hella in my feelings, and I just DM'd him like, hey, I'd love to come and just hang out. And he was like, all right, we're going to meet here. Ended up meeting with him and two other photographers. One's a girl named Tiff, another one, Almar. And they ended up shooting on that roof, and I ended up shooting with my iPhone. And I remember I had some 6am stickers on me, so I put them on the roof, and that was the first time I've ever done that in my life.
Yeah.
And it inspired me in a cool way, where I was just interested immediately into photography and exploring, I guess, if you will, urban exploring. And I started paying more attention to who was doing photography meetups in the community, and there was about 2 or 3 people that were doing it, especially in LA, and one of them was We Own the Night LA, and one was Conquer LA. The next one that was coming up was Conquer LA, so I said, I'm just going to go check it out. I went with my iPhone, met a couple people, saw some pretty dope photos being taken. It was some good energy. I've never been part of that. We're like in the alleys of downtown LA. It's 9-10 o'clock at night. And it inspired me even more. I'm like, damn, this is super dope. I don't know. And I just got to thinking, what would make this better? And music in my head automatically was the first thing that I could offer. Like, music would be dope. How can we get music here? And there was another group called Flash Mob. They were doing meetups too at the time, and they linked with us in LA to do this big meet that got a whole bunch of news and got a whole bunch. It's pretty infamous as far as photo meets go, but it was three hubs. It was We Own the Night LA, it was Conquer LA, and it was Flash Mob. Flash Mob had their own DJ, if you will. They had their own guy that was playing beats on a sample pad with a speaker, but he was just playing beats on a speaker. His name is Wave something. I forgot his name, to be honest, because it's been 4 years. Wave Crasher, I think, something like that. But that inspired me because I said, okay, if he could play on a little speaker and push it around a little bit, I think I could DJ on it.
Yeah.
And it inspired me to make my own setup. So I got all my equipment together, and I got a controller together, and I got a powered, like a generator together, and I just put it together, and it worked. It played for hours, and I thought, okay, I can do this mobily. I could play anywhere I want. So I'm going to try it. And I think I started showing up. I showed up to one Conquer LA meet. It was a barbecue, and I brought my setup, but it wasn't mobile at the time. But they asked if I could play. I kind of just went to play, but I told them, is it cool? They said, yeah, that's sure, you can play. So I played there, and it was cool. Everything was fine. And then after that, I was invited by a couple girls. One of them is Killer Kristen on Instagram. She asked me to do an all-girl photo meet with her underneath the 6th Street Bridge, and that's when I brought out the cart, and it worked, and everybody loved it. And after that, Conquer asked me if I'd like to do a meet with them, and then I kept it strictly just Conquer LA meets. Every now and then I would kind of go out and do a TFTI meet, or I would do another meet with another group, but I pretty much kept the cart idea a Conquer LA thing, because that's like where it all inspired from. And to this day, I only do Conquer LA meets with that cart.
Really?
So that's kind of
what is it that like, is it just that you wanted to have that like street vibes, that like, what is
I just wanted to be heard. Yeah. I think more than anything, I wanted to be heard. I wanted to play whatever I wanted, and nobody could tell me what I could do or what I couldn't do. There was no restrictions, and I felt that was a perfect place for me to play my style of music, because as a DJ or as anything, you know, you get hired to do a wedding, or you get hired to do an event, and like it's a specific style event, and it's not so much, they don't want the music you love to play. They want music that they like, or
they just want you to be a jukebox.
They want you to be a jukebox, and that's the problem. Like, I've never started any of my passions because of the money part. I started it because I really enjoyed doing it. And then you look at the opportunities that can come through it, and how you could make money and how you could make it a business. But I always wanted to stay true to my sound, to my style, to what I'm doing. I never wanted to be hired to play for others, you know, in that type of way. It's hard for me to even have a boss in general in life, you know, like when you're working a 9-to-5, it's hard for you to take direction from somebody when you know that they're taking you for granted, or they're not using you to your full potential, or
I hear that.
You know what I mean? So it was just always I just got to do it my style, and I thought the cart was a perfect way to do it, and I felt like I was completely right. Nobody till this day has ever told me anything about it, you know.
So do you feel like do you have a perfect balance between both, or do you feel like it's just, do you do one now more than...
Not yet. I think right now it's more one than the other. I don't think, because I've been DJing for so long, and it's been a passion of mine, this newfound passion for photography has completely like came out of nowhere and kind of just grabbed my full attention. And I don't know, it's hard to compare both, because people will ask me that, like, oh, what do you like to do more, or like what do you concentrated on? Honestly, like, I'll be honest, it's been photography for the past 3.5 years, but I still love DJing, and I still want to do it. It's just I'm not pursuing certain gigs or playing everywhere, because I don't think that's what's going to truly make me happy right now. I think I'll always have DJing, and I'll always want to play, but right now I need to focus on photography.
So how hard is it to make it as a photographer in LA? Because there's a lot of photographers.
Someone asked that the other day.
Yeah, and it's just crazy, because, you know, like, I was talking to someone about you the other day. They're like, well, what makes him so different between
everyone else?
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, well, again, it's probably like the way people perceive it, but when I see your stuff, I see just like what photography should be about. It's like I feel like he captured that moment, and I just got like sucked into that portal, and I'm like there right now.
Oh yeah.
I'm there. So like I like that, you know, and it's like street stuff.
Yeah, it's all street.
I grew up in Orange County. I'm originally from there. I barely moved out here towards LA like.
That's dope. Shout out to Orange County.
Yeah,
For reals. I got love for Orange County because, I spent a lot of time in those early years with DJing and those events in Orange County. That's all he did was Anaheim, Costa Mesa, like all of Irvine, like all of Orange County, Santa Ana, everywhere around, you know? And I got to see it up close and kind of appreciate it, not being from there.
So the other day, when you were on your live, I heard you say, I'm not an influencer. You said, I'm an inspired, a creator. What did you mean by that when you said that? Because, I guess because, you know, when I think about your photography, right? For example, like when I go on your page and I see it, I'm like, you know, even if I'm like maybe feeling a certain way that day or whatever, I see it and I'm just like, shit, man. I'm like, if he's like out here and he's grinding, he's doing this, then like, get your ass up, man. Let's go.
Yeah,
so, like, how does that like feel to you? If someone's just like, well, you influence me. Like, what do you do about that? Like, what do you say?
It's a hard one because I know deep inside, I know I influence people. I'm aware of that. But to just label me as a influencer, as this person with a following, I feel it's kind of shallow and there's not much meat on the bone. You know, I've put years into my craft and years of sacrifice into the art that I make, and some of it has been vulnerable of me to even let go or even talk about. So I feel that just that whole stigma of influencer, it shuts down a lot of the good that people are doing, or creatives. You know, I consider myself a creative and an inspirer, where I make stuff with hopes of inspiring people to either do something creative with their life or chase their dreams. Like, it's always positive. It's never been negative, or I don't ever spend my time on social media being negative or putting even a light on that. I try to keep it as positive and inspiring as I can. But that's all I meant, that I'm just not this one thing. There's more to me than that, you know?
Yeah. So what does it mean to you, like, to create content? Like do you have a specific...
Well, at first it was a therapy.
Really?
Yeah, because I deal with depression. I deal with MDD, which is major depression disorder. There hasn't been too much breakthroughs on it as far as help. How do we help people that deal with depression on a daily basis, or a recurring issue within their mind? And there's a lot of unanswered questions to that, but it started out as a therapy thing mostly for me. And then when I found out that people liked it and I was actually kind of good at it, then the business side kind of like ticked off for me. So what was the question?
What does it mean? Like, what does it mean? Like, to create content?
It honestly, it means everything. It started off as that at first, but now it means a lot more because I know that I have a voice with what I do, and I also have a responsibility as far as being a creative to inspire and stand for good in a sense.
So I have to ask, like, what's your take on, like, especially now, like the I like to say, like, the good aspect of social media, like the capabilities that people have versus like before when you were a photographer and you were trying to like do big, and maybe you did or you didn't. You had art galleries and you were just trying to push your art, like say like, hey, I'm a photographer, this is what I do. What do you feel like are the advantages towards like what you want to do now?
You can actually make a career and a living off of what you do because of the internet and social media. The good is that you have way more eyes on you than you would ever have in your life. 10 years ago, I mean, even 15 years ago when I was in high school, we didn't have the internet like this. We didn't have social media. So chances of you getting your photography, your singing, your dancing, your whatever your thing is out there and with millions of eyes on it, you couldn't. It was impossible. And now there are kids on YouTube, there are kids on Instagram and on TikTok and all this stuff that have bigger followings than celebrities and movie stars that have been doing it for 20 years. I mean, that's the power of the internet. And if you use it, I always say it's a tool, because for the most part, it's like you go on the internet to get information or you get answers or to look for something. There's always something in mind. It's never you just go on and you're just oblivious to where you're searching. You have an idea for, oh, I'm going to buy this, or I'm going to search for that, or no, I'm kind of interested in this. Like, you could never do that before. There's no books for this. There's no teaching for this. Schools aren't teaching this. Entrepreneurship, they're not teaching that, And now you don't need that degree. You don't need college, in a sense, to make a living for yourself and be happy chasing the things that you love to do. And that's the most important part. Is I tell everybody, at least do what you truly want to do with your life. Take a stab at it. Like, your parents or your friends are always going to influence you or tell you should do this or you should do that, or that's where the money's at. But at the end of the day, we got that one life. You have to use it to your advantage.
So what is it exactly that you're like want to say with your photographs, like when you take them?
I just want them to mean more at this point, because it's kind of hard to put the vulnerable, like to put the moody side of me and the mean. Like, nobody's ever gonna take these photos the way I truly mean them to be taken. Yeah. So you gotta kind of be a realist about it. And I just came to the point with social media and what I was doing with, like, okay, I want my work to mean more than swipes and to mean more than likes and emojis. Like, emojis are cool, but after a while, getting those fire emojis, it's cool and all, but it's not helping me grow as an artist.
It's not the same as someone walking up to you on the street and being like, hey man, like, what's up? Like, they know you and there's that recognition because of what you've done, right? Like,
yeah, that means a lot more, to be honest, than just throwing an emoji on it. But I get it. It's the time we're living in, and you just have to roll with it and not take everything too personal. I just, at the end of the day, I want my work to mean more, and I want people to know that I put a lot of thought and effort into these images. I'm not just posting stuff just to post it. I really put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and we were saying how, there is influencers or people that, are content creators, I guess you could say, and they're just like trying to kind of build this image that like they're always busy and like that you have to grind. And then there's people that are like falling into depression because they just feel like they have to like keep up, or like, you know what I mean? Like, like, what does that mean to you? Like,
there's always this saying, work hard. What is it? Work smarter, not harder. Yeah. I think that's the saying. That kind of goes into hand. I mean, like anything in life, you have to work hard, obviously, and you have to be determined, and you're gonna fail. And I think failing is the most part where people like disconnect. As soon as they fail, they either give up or they think they're not worth it. And I believe that in order to succeed, you have to fail and you have to get it wrong, because how else are you ever going to get it right? We don't just get stuff right. We don't wake up and we just know what's right. We go with our intuition and feeling and we act on it, and hopefully it's right, but you can't let it tear you down, because there's much more to life than this. There's family, there's growing, there's your mental health, there's your physical health, there's your future, there's so much more to this. So it's a hard one, because I deal with depression. Like I said, I fall into it, and I can't really put a thing on it, on what exactly does that. It's hereditary, it's my genes, I guess. It's part of that. But a lot of us deal with it, and I just know that you have to keep yourself working and keep yourself active and keep pursuing the things you truly are interested in and love, because without that, it gets a little dark, and then you start just, doing the same routine over and over to get by, but you're not really living your life. You're just staying alive at that point. So,
what are other things that you do? Speaking on like a mental note, like that you do besides like shooting photography, like things that you like to do just for fun, like your kickback? Do those exist? Like,
they do. They do. They do. Yeah, I do find time for them every now and then.
I was like, man, is he always up at 6 a.m.?
I get that a lot too. No, I like to go for long drives at night. I like to listen to music while I drive on the freeways, or I go to Malibu and I'll go up the windy roads of the mountains and just kind of enjoy the drive. I like to be between peace and quiet and the mountains and nature, because I'm so much in the city every week, all the time. I'm always shooting here or creating here. So to unwind, I like to go to the beach or go for a nice drive and just listen to music. And I do smoke a lot every now, every time I'm out, I'm smoking. So that helps me relax, and those are my little remedies. But then on the other side, there's also, I like to spend time with my family, and I like to be around my friends that make me feel comfortable, and they're not judging me for my ambition or the things I'm trying to create. They're influencing me, and if not encouraging me to keep going. Yeah. And if it wasn't for the group of friends I have, I don't really know where I'd be standing right now, or I don't know where my head would be, or where the future is going to be. But because I surround myself with family mostly, friends after, and then the things that I love to do, it's built a nice vibe for me wherever I go and whatever I'm trying to get done. I always feel like I'm in a good place. So I think just the drives, some smoke, some family, friends, and still creating is what gets me good, always.
I used to smoke a lot too. We all do things we regret.
We regret.
I went and got this tattoo, unfortunately.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then everyone, there's times where I would be at work and some little girl would be like, "Mommy, I love her tattoo."
You're like, no.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
It happens.
So, what motivates you to continue taking pictures, economically, or just
a lot of things. I just love to create. So for myself, making these pictures make me feel better. They make me feel good inside. It's like a little drop of, like a little drug, it just feels good. Just a little dose, and it feels so good. And then another big part of it is opportunity. I feel that if I keep chasing the things that I love and keep consistent with it, that these opportunities and doors are going to open that I could never even dream about. I mean, it's already happened, to be honest. There's a couple of people that I've worked with that I never thought I'd be able to work with. I never saw it coming. And to this day, I'm like, damn, I can't believe I did that with them. I'll give you an example. We did something with Sammy's cameras where we were talking about our magazine, and we were talking about our work, and it was a Q&A literally inside their store in Hollywood. They provided donuts and drinks and all that for our guests and visitors, and it just felt crazy to be like, yo, I can't believe I'm in Sammy's cameras right now talking about my work and about this magazine, and there's people here interested in that. That couldn't even be planned. I never thought that would ever happen. So that's what keeps me creating, those moments like that. And like Boston, I'm leaving to Boston tomorrow, coming back in a week. I would have never had that opportunity if it wasn't for photography and my creating. So I'm super excited for everything that I'm able to do, and I plan on doing, to be honest. That's what keeps me going. And my family, they also encourage me because they believe in me, and I want to give back to them so bad.
So speaking of family, can you describe a day or something that you can remember in your childhood? Can you take me back real quick, really back before the 6 a.m. before
that?
Yeah. Let's take it back. Just a good fond memory that you can think of, growing up in a day in your life, in your shoes, or your family.
Oddly enough, my older sister's graduation party. Really? This was in '96. Yeah, I have a lot of memories of my family, but this one sticks out for some reason because all of her friends were there, her friends on the block. This is in La Puente. All of our family are there. My cousin's DJing, and he's killing it at the time. He's on the radio, and he's like doing big things. So that party was out of control. And I remember being super young and seeing my sister graduate. That was the first of the family to graduate. I remember being so proud, but also having so much fun with everyone because they were truly happy for her success. And that was the first time I felt like, damn, I can do this too. You know, I can make my family proud, and I can make everybody want to party with me and happy. And it was just a fond memory to be around my family and my sister and to bask in her success, because it's like it was a rare moment, I guess, for all of us. And I mean, that party was seriously off the hook. It was into the late night, and I was just a kid, man, but I had such a great time. Like I love that moment. But there's a lot. That's a hard question, because I can think of a million moments that I was just happy and that I'll never forget, pretty much.
Was there any times, like, growing up during life, I guess you could say, like, adversities that you faced that maybe you can reflect on now, that you can, you know what I mean? Like that,
yeah, definitely.
Kind of get some clarity in your mind when you're, like, going through certain things?
Yeah, there's been some bad times for sure. My dad is a recovering alcoholic till this day. So dealing with an alcoholic father pretty much my whole life has had a big influence on me. I mean, I remember I used to not even drink because I was scared to turn into anything close to him in those moments. And keep in mind, like, my dad's super dope, and if anybody meets him, they'll say, "Oh, your dad's super cool. He's funny. He's nice," you know. But we all got demons, and that was one major setback. I can honestly say, growing up, that changed my perspective on a lot of things, and had a psychological effect on my mentality and how I look at things, I guess. So dealing with that was super hard. And there was a time where I got into drugs a bit because it was so easily accessible. It was around me. My friends always had drugs on them. It was super easy to just do and fall into, like, wanting to fit in and just trying stuff. But I remember there was a point where I got fed up with myself, and I'm, like, questioning my faith, because I'm a born-again believer. I'm a Christian. So I was questioning my intentions, and it was an ugly time for sure, where I just had to, like, get away from everything, and the depression and the drugs and all that was, like, damn near gonna kill me. But if it wasn't for friends and some of the things I got into, like DJing and the arts and stuff, I think I would have steered a wrong way, but I didn't. And then photography eventually fell its way to me, and that's when a lot of things started to change for the better. But it's a learning experience. We all have them. We all have our personal stuff that we learn through, and it makes us better. And I'm glad I've gone through it. I'm happy that I got to experience life on the low end and now on a higher end, and hopefully higher than this, you know. But those are two things that kind of came in the way of my life, for sure.
All those little steps, they all lead you somewhere, you know.
Yeah, they do.
Here we are sitting.
Here we are sitting at HEX, chilling upstairs.
So, from your point of view, like, going back to the photography and the art, like, kind of being like that dope of medicine and stuff, like what, in your point of view, what makes a good picture? Or better, a better question is, like, what kind of pictures do you like to take on your downtime? And is there actually pictures that you try to avoid? And, like, the reason why I ask that is because, like,
it's a good question.
I've gone through, like, I've seen a lot of photographers. I follow a lot of photographers,
For sure.
I see them, and because I don't know what it is. about me that I get inspired, maybe because I write. That's what it is. I think that's what it is. Like, I like seeing it visually.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, not all the time I'm going to get that luxury of maybe traveling somewhere.
For sure.
At a picture.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I feel like I'm there, you know? So I like that. And, like, visually seeing it, it's, like, stimulating, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes I run across some pretty raunchy, like...
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So that's what I'm like...
There's a lot of...
Is there, like, even on your downtime, like, maybe photos that you're not maybe doing for your content that you like to take? Or in general, like, for your content, is there a certain type of photography that you avoid? Like, if people hit you up about it, like, is there certain jobs that maybe you turn down and you're like, oh, you know, I don't really know. That's what I'm asking.
There are jobs that I turn down for sure that don't fall in line with what I believe, or I don't like the way they're running their business, or even like the stuff that they're saying online. If I feel it's a negative or they're trying to be too cool for school, I'm not really messing with that. I shoot every day for myself mostly. There's no restrictions other than I don't like to shoot people that are asleep on the ground or knocked out in the streets, like just cold knocked out, like they're incoherent, basically. Yeah, homeless, anybody, but maybe you could say a homeless that are out here that are
without
just
their consent.
Without their consent, like I feel like it's sneaky and I'm exploiting them in not a cool way. That's one no, and then another no. It's a fine line. But I would say like raunchy stuff with women for sure. I have shot girls that were nude, but I thought it was tasteful in my eyes, and I didn't. There hasn't been too much of that on my feed as far as women go. When I shoot women, I don't try to sexually exploit them, or if I'm using sexy with it, I try to do it in a way that's not crossing the line and kind of like creative, or I'm just thinking tastefully. So you're not going to see a lot of just ass on my work. Like you're not going to like.
I've seen your page. There might be. It looks artsy. It looks like art to me.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna remember my shots of women being just like, oh, he only shoots them because of that. You know, you're gonna see like, oh, there's actually something here. There's some substance here. There's like a feeling here that he left. So I would say, I steer away from like over-sexing and using sex to sell. I know it does, but it's just not where my interest is at all. So like,
is there a favorite that you have amongst your works? Is amongst other works that I've seen, or is there stuff that you don't even have? Maybe just I know you have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
6amLosAngeles.com
for all platforms, if Spotify, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. It's all 6am Los Angeles. I say TikTok because I just made one a week ago. My nieces kind of talked me into it.
You know, I heard about that. What is that?
It's.
I sound old. I probably sound old right now. Like, what is TikTok?
It's basically an app where all these creatives and a lot of younger generations go on and they make videos to songs, and it could be dancing or it could be acting, it could be being funny or whatever. But it's music. It used to be called Musical.ly or something. It was a music app, but it turned into this cool thing that honestly has the potential to overthrow Instagram right now because there's so many people on it. Yeah. That's like the inside news, like the nerdy the side of like social media that I find out, where it's like, yo, this TikTok thing is blowing up, where to the point where you can take advantage now and get on it. And if you have something to show, or if you're an actor or a singer or whatever, there's a way to use this platform to get thousands, millions of people to watch, you know. And
that's pretty good.
So it's interesting.
You just taught me something.
It's pretty. I have one on there.
I'm sitting over here with my cane and stuff. Like, what?
It's just another platform, you know. Everything has its cycles. Everything has its turn.
So you don't really have like a favorite or something?
Oh, yeah. I can speak about, I mean, I have a lot of favorites, but one of them that mainly sticks out, I guess, is this U.S. bank shot that I took on a helicopter. Because at that time, I was only shooting for less than a year. It was my first and only helicopter ride over L.A., like I'm telling you, like this, it was the year that I got into photography changed my whole life. And when I went up on that flight, my only thought in my head was, I need to get that U.S. shot bank, like that U.S. bank shot. I need to get that shot because I know that's the most meaningful thing, like I could show as far as downtown, smack in the middle. That's the building you see. And we went up and ended up shooting like a bunch of shots. And I went home, put it in my computer, and looking through the shots, I'm like, nah, this is not good. Nah, this is crap. Nah. And I was like, holy shit, there it is. This is the shot. I just know it. This is a shot. I posted it. I edited a little bit, posted it on Instagram. I think I even went to bed because it was like a whole day thing. I woke up the next day and I had so many comments and notifications for that picture because Hypebeast posted it. And I didn't even follow Hypebeast at the time. I know about Hypebeast, but I just wasn't a Hypebeast kid. I was more into, just the photo meets and just creating. So, yeah, that blew me away because, one, they liked it. And then, two, they were willing to share it on their platform that had over 1 million people following them. And it just put eyes on my work. And I remember that was a turning point where I just was like, damn, I can really inspire people with my photos and I can really like do something cool here, And that picture stands out to me a lot. It means a lot to me because that's LA right there to me.
It's a dope. I know which one you're talking about. I've seen it.
It's pretty sick.
Popped up every now and then.
Yeah, every now and then. Yeah, it got shared a little bit, but.
So, like, when you went on the helicopter that day, was that your intentions? You were just trying to, like.
Well, my intentions was to just enjoy the ride, but you always know as a photographer, there's a shot that you really want and you have in mind, and that was it. I just wanted a shot of. I didn't know it'd be like that. I didn't know how the angle would be. I just knew I needed a shot of that building, all of downtown around it, and I went for it. Yeah, I did have that in mind, and I have other shots that I posted that I love too, but I did have that in mind. You're spending money and you're going on this little helicopter ride. You better have something in mind that you want to get done, or else it's just a fun ride, I guess. But no, I really wanted that shot.
So, like, whenever you're about to, like, maybe go, you're about to take off on a trip or something like that, is there, like, what's your go-to things that you take with you, like when, you're about to go, like, what's your essentials, like, that you take with you?
My camera.
Your camera.
My phone. My wallet, what I'm saying? No,
to make the content happen.
I just need my camera.
That's it?
I just need my camera. Maybe my laptop, I guess. But if I'm going on a trip, I'm going mainly to shoot, not edit. And when I get back home, I'll start editing.
So, like, do you have, like, settings that you
just stick to?
Like, that's just you. You're like,
no.
You already know how to pull them up, or?
No, I mean, it depends on the feel of the shot. If you're going for something darker, something more moody, or how's the weather hitting right now? Like, how's that gonna add into this photo? And it's literally just timing and place and how you feel at the moment. That's all I've gone off of. Like, if I'm in an abandoned hospital, I know this needs to be a little grungy and spooky, and it needs to feel like this is abandoned.
And that's what I was gonna ask. Like, do you, like, when you go into, like, when you're in a scenario, do you know exactly what you need to, like, what settings, what kind of lighting that you need to?
I have a general idea for what needs to be done in order to get the shot off. Yeah, because you have to know your settings, or if you're going into a dark place, you have to know that, I gotta slow my shutter down. I gotta, like, probably put my ISO up, but then I don't want more noise. But how much of the shot needs to be in focus? All those things play a part into the shot. But for the most part, you just go with the flow and you just try your best at any situation. So
I'm not sure if I've asked you this before, but did you go to photography school? Or is this something that you just?
No, I learned on my own. It was all self-taught. Yeah.
How many years would you say it took you to kind of, like, not master it, but I would say, like, to start getting comfortable with knowing exactly
the first year. For some reason, I don't know, maybe I was comfortable with the camera, but the first year I think I was taking some pretty solid photos right off the bat, just just from trying.
Were you taking it out like every day or
every week? For sure. Every week, yeah.
Going out shooting photos?
Yeah, every week, more than 2 times a week for sure.
So like, how do you get the person or place like kind of in front of you and like shoot it in the way that you see it in your head? Like, how do you?
Well, sometimes I'll see something and I'll ask, if I'm shooting a subject like a person, I'll ask them to stand somewhere if I have a shot in mind or if I see something. But there are a lot of photos that I'm just shooting openly, just not really thinking too much, just moving myself around the subject, having fun, having a good time, enjoying the vibe. And I'll get a shot that I'm like, damn, like I couldn't even tell you I planned that because I just got it. And I think that's the magic within photography. When you get those type of shots and you feel that feeling from getting them, it's addicting where you want to get more and you want to build this library of just awesome shots to show people or to look back on. That small mystery of photography always keeps me interested and keeps me shooting, because you just never know what you're going to get or what you could get. You just never know.
So how do you get paid to like do what you want to do with your photography?
A lot of it is freelance right now. Shooting portraits for people, or I'm shooting an artist right now named Hades. She's awesome. Working with artists, getting to shoot them at their gigs. Product shots, that's more on the low. I don't really post product shots, but there are companies vape companies or stuff where they ask me, they need some shots. It hasn't. My photography hasn't been too much monetized because, for one, I want to get better. 2, I'm building the reputation of what 6am is, and then I guess the third thing would just be I just want people to respect my work,
Yeah.
So earning that respect from the street, from the creatives, from everybody online. That also grows into the brand. So I think for me, it's like a long race. It's like a marathon. Like, I'm not really trying to monetize right now because I'm only 4 years in, and I'm not taking these sponsorships or I'm not taking these deals because I don't want to burn myself out or like just do it because of the money. I have a bigger picture at the end, and the magazine is part of that picture. Because I think that if we do this right, it could be bigger than we ever thought. I've never been part of a magazine. I don't really know, but this one feels like it has potential to like really become big and possibly create an income for myself with my work. And
you're referring to the Street magazine?
Yeah, the Streets magazine. Yeah, it's documentation of the streets, centered around, each magazine is focused on one city. We did 2 LA issues. Our third one was San Fran. We went up there, only featured San Fran shooters. And then our next one, our fourth one, is Boston. We're going up to Boston, doing a release up there. We're doing a photo walk with Leica Boston. And it's all Boston photographers featured in that. And then we're going to come back home and do our year anniversary and do our 5th issue, which will be LA issue. And the people we have part of that magazine, I'm like really excited for, because nobody knows what we're about to do and who's about to.
You're like, I'm not spilling no tea.
I can't spill no tea. I'll tell you when this is off. I'll give you some insight off the record. I'll let you know. But I'm just excited, dude, to be part of this and to see where it's going. These are more meaningful to me than just working alone, and it's helped me grow as a human, as a person, as a friend in general.
Yeah.
It's helped me to grow and know what's more important. You can do it on your own, but it's a lot of more work. And what good would it be when you can't toast with your friends straight across the table, and keep it going.
And I was going to ask you about that too, because in These Streets magazine, I see a lot of like in the streets, like raw things that are happening, and I do like some activism work on my own. I think what was it, last month I was out here marching, and then a filmmaker from LA, me, my son, and my brother. My brother, it was his first year coming, and I'm second year veteran already going out there, and I've literally saw someone last year just get a cup of innocently walking with us got a cup of soda thrown at her face. Yeah. And it's just crazy because, you know, in those moments, I start thinking about the greats, like the people in the past that have tried to do, like, great things, you know? Because, again, great things just don't happen. They come in little tiny increments. And I'm like, I'm reading this book right now. I don't know if you heard of it. I highly suggest it. It's called The Slight Edge. It's a really good book because it's like saying that you could be, like, down in the gutter essentially one day, and the next day you could be at the up and up. But even the people that have been at the up and up, eventually at one point can just go right back down. And it's because they lose focus of the one thing that got them there. That little slight edge of, like, continuously doing the work every day, because they feel like, all right, I've already gotten here. All right, cool, I'm here. But you still have to work. Like, even rich people, they still work, you know, like. And so, you know, seeing that, like, seeing the type of work that These Streets magazine does, and, like, seeing that, I was like, it really, you know, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, how does it make you feel, like, when you're out, or, you know, you're out in the streets and you're there with people? They're just people that are just like us.
It makes me feel human.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like we're all the same and we're all in this together. It makes me have sympathy for people, you know, and practice kindness every day. You really have to, like, tone in on that. You really have to take that to heart, because you could say it, but actually, like, what's the last kind thing you've done for somebody today? You know, when you think about it, you're like, shit, I haven't done anything. I'm just thinking about myself and doing my own thing, you know? I know that everybody on this magazine, that's part of this magazine, has their heart in the right place, and that was a big one for me. You know, like, why are they starting this, or what is this all about? And they really, truly care for people in the streets. They care for the people that are struggling and that need help, and they want to make a difference. And it just makes me feel human, and I'm grateful to be part of the group, because they help me, like I said, with my mentality and how I picture the world, and even how I treat it. Like, every day I just want to put my best foot forward, and also try to have acts of kindness towards people that are with me, or leave people with a good experience when they talk to you, and when they leave that, they leave that. The other day we were in the back over here of the alleys, and there was a homeless woman that it looked like she was schizophrenic, because she was talking to herself, and she was moving around too much. And she came up to me and my homie, and she's saying all this random stuff, and I'm just totally calm. I'm totally silent, and I'm listening to her. And within that rambling, I heard her say, "Light. Do you have a light?" And she's still rambling. So I'm like, oh, she wants a lighter. So I take out my lighter. I'm like, here you go. And she grabs it, and she's still rambling, and she's talking about all this stuff. She's calling us names, trying to get the lighter to work, and it doesn't work. And in the middle of that rambling, she says, it doesn't work. And she starts rambling. So then I said, oh, shoot, get that one from her. And I give her my other lighter, and it works. And she lights her cigarette, and she looks at us, and she's like, nods her head, and she walks away, and she keeps talking. And that experience alone, you know, I felt like I can't be I can't shove my back to this lady because she seems like she's whack, or she seems like she's out of it. If you just take the time to see people for who they truly are, and understand that if they're lost, or if they're sick, or if they need help, or if they just need an ear to listen to, try to provide something to them. And for me, it was just being calm, giving her my lighter, letting her have it, and maybe showing her that there are kind people out here that aren't going to judge you, because I didn't want to judge her for anything. I just knew that she needs help. That probably wouldn't have happened a year ago if I was still creating in a space that was more selfish and more ego driven.
Yeah,
than just trying to rise, just trying to kill it, just trying to always, be on people's radar. Like, that's cool and all, but there's so much more meaningful things out here in this lifetime. And if you can use your art to make a difference, please do, because the creators of the world are the only ones that will make the difference. It's not the politicians. It's not the CEOs or the brands or whatever. This world is pretty shallow in the sense of a lot of people only care about money. And after that, you are the people that really care about the things that matter. And that's where you'll find me now.
So did you have like an original set career path at one point,
Hell no.
Did it go from aspiring to actually doing it type of thing? Or,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it has actually. Visioning it and no, that shit is real. If you what's the word I'm looking for? When you vision something.
Heavenly.
No, it's not. It's not. You said it good though. You said it real good. Heavenly. I don't know how I couldn't get that earlier. I'm missing the word, but okay. What was the question again? Repeat.
I said, what was your did you have a career path?
Okay.
And I was like, how did it get to from you aspiring to actually doing it?
Manifesting.
Okay, I believe it.
Is real. Because it's so real. Because I always wanted, when I got into DJing, in my head I was like, oh, I want to do this and make a living, and I visioned the things that I wanted, and slowly but surely they were coming true because I was working towards it and things were happening. And then when photography fell into my lap, the same thing happened where there was a moment that I saw that I can make this something big for myself. And I envisioned a career taking photos and people liking them. And it was like a dream within a dream. It seemed like I could attain it. Fast forward to 4 years now, I'm getting closer and closer to that dream because I'm getting these opportunities that have the potential to pay me very well to do what I love to do. And if I focus in and I stay determined and I get this business down, I can do it. There's other people that have done it, I can do it too. But that's only because I visioned it and because I believe in myself and because I'm working towards it. All those things play factor. You can vision stuff all day, but if you're not putting the time in or the work in or the effort in, then it's probably going to take you a lot slower to get there. Yeah. But all those things matter.
How do you educate yourself, or I don't even know if you do, to take better photos? Is there...
By being really, really hard on myself. There's a few shoots where I've shot and I did not like the photos that came out. Like shooting with the model, I did not like the photos that I took. I wasn't happy. Now, when I show them to that person might be like, yo, these are dope. These are sick. Yeah. But there's a standard for me, and it's gotten worse and worse as the years have gone on, and that's maybe something I need to be careful with because it's going to kind of deter me from creating in a good place. Mm-hmm. Because I'm always trying to outdo myself. I'm always trying to do better, but I have to remind myself that I'm not perfect, and you're not going for imperfection. You're just going for meaningful work. So there's been times where I'm super hard on myself, but you gotta just roll with it, man. You can't always take bomb pictures. You can't always be perfect at this. You gotta just create.
So what's the one thing that you wish you knew when you first started taking photos?
I wish I knew that I wasn't going to have all the answers for the first 4 years. That it was going to take time, and it's still going to take time to progress in the craft and to get where I want to get. I'm probably never, ever going to be happy.
Is there a reason why you think you're never going to be happy?
I don't know. I just, I don't know. Maybe it's a thing within me. It's a fear that I'll never reach my truest potential. That's something that I've told some people where they say, well, what's the problem? We're like, well, you're really good at this. And then they're like, yeah, the problem is I just don't feel like I'll ever reach my truest potential, that I'll ever be as good as I want to be. that's the struggle. It's that's a mental thing for me. You know, it's why I think that way. I have no idea. I wish I was more chill with it. Like, whatever, you know. Yeah.
All right. Well,
it's a lot of interesting stuff there.
Yeah, a lot more juicy details. I think I'm bargaining for today. I'll take it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stop this. I'm gonna stop this little segment really quick, just to kind of let people in on the word of the day. I always have a word of the day because I like people
that.
leaving my podcast. I'm a writer, so I love people leaving knowing a new word. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever heard of this word, but the word is called undulate. Undulate.
Say that again.
Undulate.
Okay.
It's spelled UNDULATE.
Never heard that.
Never heard of it, right?
No.
All right. So did you know that word actually means to form of moving waves? It's kind of like another meaning of fluctuating, right? It's like the rise and fall of volume and the pitch of something. So you could be in the studio and you're like, I'm about to undulate the shit out of
That's
this.
pretty sick. That is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. That's beautiful.
What?
What the hell?
Yeah, so I always do a word of the day. So now you know.
Thank you.
Now 6 a.m. Los Angeles knows what undulate means.
About to
You know,
undulate.
use that word out there in the photography.
I'm about to undulate the whole community. ASAP.
And then I always have a joke of the day too.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. All right, joke of the day. You ready? It says, you never appreciate what you got until it's gone. The toilet paper is a good example. I'm a big advocate of like people being open about using the restroom because I don't know if like
Oh shit.
there's always been a big stigma
That's
around
interesting.
like women and men. I don't know about what kind of people you hang around exactly, but
I hang with realists.
yeah, when I'm around people, I'm just like, I'll be with friends and like, excuse my French, but I'm like, hey yo, it's like you got a bathroom here? I gotta take a shit today.
Yeah.
Like, and they're just like, what? And I'm like, no, it's just it's a real human.
That's real
response,
human.
like, right? Like,
Yeah, hell yeah.
If you came into my house for whatever reason, I wouldn't expect you to be sitting there suffering because
real.
you don't want me to.
That's so
know,
funny.
And you're embarrassed, and like I'm just like, dude, come on. Like whenever I meet someone, my immediate like response is like, we're family, man. Like we're all
I love that.
humans.
I love that, dude.
Shit.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Like we
really,
and
no.
that's what like I love about like where you were talking about the homeless community, because it's like I'm constantly, that's kind of one of the real reasons why I started People Talk Now, was because I just was like talking about it for so long. I was telling everybody like, yeah, I want to get this up and going. Like, you know, I'm a journalist. I love writing articles about certain things that like really mean something to me, you know, where people like, where I want people to read it and be like, holy shit, I didn't know. But like now you know, and I just want to like, you know, talk to people and like find out from different walks of life of people like what's really going on. Like everybody has a voice, and just kind of being like, when people ask me to talk about, like recently people asked me to like talk about like relationships and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not very like out there. I used to be. Like when I first started in this social media platform, I was like all about telling people about like everything. Now I'm very selective, but even with the amount that I tell, it's like, all right, you ready to hear it or not? And I'm prepared all the time to like lose people because
of your bluntness or your rawness?
I'm prepared because I know that I just want to have a group of like-minded people, as cliche as it sounds, like that are just like, hey, you know what, man? I know what she's about. I know that if 6 a.m. Los Angeles goes missing for 3 months, unless I don't know that about him, I know that he's putting in work, and I'm not just like, oh, he's just being like this and goodbye.
Yeah.
Like, well, send him a farewell package. No, it's like, no, like I understand because I'm a real human. I know that you're a real human and you're doing your thing, you know what I mean? And
process.
So that's why like I wanted to start this podcast, to just go, you know, I recently also was talking to single mothers on campus as well about what it's like for a single mother, because the statistics, a lot of people don't know that a lot of the times why these mothers actually drop out of school is because they don't have help. There's like single mamas out there, you know, not to bash every man out there. There's good dads out there.
For sure.
I had a bomb-ass stepfather, you know, who recently passed away like 4 years ago. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even be the person that everybody loves now. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I'm just saying like, I just want to like talk to people like yourself, you know, that are people that are actually really trying to do something. Like, don't say it, and then, you know, just because like I'm the whole just where social media is going now and the rise and the platform, just trying to just be a number. I don't want numbers. I fucking hate math.
Yeah, for real. I was never good at it.
I'm not gonna be a CEO of anything anytime soon, but probably have someone. Mark my words. I'll probably have somebody like I'll pay someone
to do that.
You
shit,
know,
but not me.
And I like that. You know what I mean? I like that you did this on your own. You know what I mean? Like you have support. You have people that supported you, and then there's people that walked out, but it was for the good. They were actually doing you a favor.
They actually did me a solid. Yeah.
Like, you know, there's no need to be bitter in those situations because, you know, everybody has taught us something at one point or another. Everything is a learning experience. You know?
Definitely, absolutely.
And you need to read that book.
I do. I need to read a few books.
You need to read it.
I do.
Like you see in my fucking library.
Yeah, I know.
You just might come knock on
my door. Like, I'm getting another book.
But yeah. So I just definitely had to tell you the whole kind of like quick little spew behind why.
No, I like that. That puts it into perspective, you know, and perfectly.
Like even this, I definitely want to kind of put it on the podcast, you know. But at the same time, like I want to write an article like about you as well to kind of have people like, because not everybody likes to sit down and listen to stuff. You'd be surprised with
true.
You'd be surprised with the internet how fucking impatient
people just want it now.
They just want it now. Not everybody's willing to sit down.
That's true
and
too.
Kind of listen to something. But some people are willing to read stuff too. There is some people out there. You'd be surprised.
There are some. This is my third.
I still like to read the newspaper. I don't know.
I like the newspaper shit. This is my third sit down I've done so far as like my photography career. I've done one with this other dude. I forgot the name of his podcast. Oh, I think it's like Influence or something. I've done two, and then one was with Chamo, which is a good friend of mine that we just go way back to the photo meet days, and he's doing I love that guy. He's been supportive, and now this is my third one. I'm only doing it with people that I'm comfortable with and that I know, and that you've always been super supportive of my work, and you've always been a light in the darkness for me. So it made sense to talk to you, and I'm glad that you even wanted to interview me to talk.
I just gotta say this, like, my piece of advice for everybody out there, like, if you're like barely starting out and you don't have maybe what you think what it takes to do something good, my whole thing is like, if you woke up breathing today, you are capable. Like, it's just, I know it's to some people it's difficult to find that balance and like be like, well, I don't have anything to be grateful for. Like, you do. Like, the fact that like you're here, that's, to me, when I wake up, I'm like, I don't already start thinking about all this shit. Like, that's no fucking way that's gonna happen. I get up and I'm like I just wake up, and I'm not gonna lie, not every day I'm all fucking chipper, but sure. I do get up and I'm just like, try to be. All right, not a lot of people don't know this, but I get up and I start talking to my plants.
That's right.
I was like, how you babies doing today? How are you guys doing? Let me breathe in the oxygen that you guys are. Yeah, but I'm saying, like, it's just, you gotta find something to be grateful for.
That's true.
You know, you got to find something to be grateful for. I get it's not going to be easy. You know, everybody faces their different things, but that's what this platform, what I'm trying to do is, like, I want people to come and just talk to me and be like, look, this needs to be heard or this needs to be talked about. And I think one of the reasons why, like, I definitely want to sit down and talk to you today, like I said, is because I like what you do. I like what you're about. And I definitely like that, like, the power that your photography could and it will have. I could see it now, like, just looking far ahead.
You're going for
and that's what I'm saying. Like, if I could end this interview today, I definitely want to ask, like, where do you see 6am Los Angeles 5 years from now? Like,
5 years from now?
Yeah, where do you see him? Where do you see your vision?
I see, for sure, I see me doing my passion for a living, photography for a living. And I see just kind of being at the forefront of the community as far as getting events together for us, photography events, and inspiring the next generation to come, because it's always about the younger generation and what we're showing them is possible, and giving them bigger ambitions. I see myself just still creating, still growing the name, and still being an inspirer.
If you had any advice right now, like that you can give for like the young little hooligans coming up, I just can't. It's just we see you out
trouble right now at this moment. You're getting yelled at.
Your mom's making you sit down and listen to this podcast.
Sit your ass down. Sit down and relax. You don't got all the answers, kid.
But no, what would be the one thing, like, if they're trying to aspire to maybe be a DJ, or they're, they say, hey, I want to eventually be a successful photographer, what would be the thing that you would tell them, like, now, just having at least the tools that you have now, like, as far as knowledge goes, you know what I mean? Like, what would you say to them right now?
I would say surround yourself with like-minded people that are into what you're doing. So if you're into photography, or if you're into music, or like I said, dance and stuff like that, surround yourself with people that also love to do that. Mm-hmm. And then by doing that, you're going to make friendships that can potentially last a lifetime, or at least influence you in a way that you've never been influenced, and open your eyes to new journeys and new opportunities. And surround yourself with those type of people. And also don't think short term. That's the most important. Don't think that you're going to get all this success and you're going to be where you want to be in 4 years from when you first started doing what you're doing, because that's just not the way things work. And if you could get there and you do it, by all means, more power to you. But usually what it takes is hard work, and it takes a lot of homework to get to the steps you need to get to, and you're going to have to fail for sure. There's no way around it. You're not going to be always hitting it on the head. You have to fail in order to get better and to succeed with anything you're doing in life. That's almost common sense, but I feel like the younger generation forgets about failing, maybe because they haven't failed too much in their life. They probably haven't failed at all if they have mom and dad's help, but there's a real world out there that isn't going to be so helpful and nice, and the doors are going to close every now and then, more than you know it. So be prepared for that, and be prepared to keep going after it happens.
Hell yeah. All right. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Like I always like to end it. So it's been a real slice.
It's been a real slice. We'll catch y'all
by the end of every podcast. I'm usually hungry, man.
I want pizza now. You had to say that. Damn.
But if you guys want to listen to this podcast or any other podcast that has been posted, definitely go to peopletalknow.com. You can find 6am Los Angeles on all platforms at 6amLosAngeles.com. You can find them on the gram. That's where I found them. You on Reddit, 6am Los Angeles. On Insta.
Yeah, and YouTube. I'm starting a blog.
I told myself I was going to do that too, but I'm just like, oh God.
It's a lot of work. I know it's a lot of work, but I'm determined.
little baby steps. That's what I'm telling you. You got to read that book. So thank you guys so much for listening, and until next time, have a kick-ass fucking Wednesday, you guys.
Peace.